Hi, Bestie. Welcome to my channel. If you do not know me, my name is Mariana, and every Friday I sit down in here and I talk with you about some conspiracy theory, true crime cases, everything mystery spooky. And if you do know me, hi, welcome back. I am so happy you came to see me again. That means a lot. You. So, get comfortable, sit down, lay down, get your little tea, your little coffee, your little soda, anything you like, and let's enjoy because I'm here to freak you out a little bit, but not with this face. With this case, we're gonna talk about today. Before I go to the cases, I just want to say thank you very much to everybody who subscribed to my last video and liked and comment and share. It means the universe. You have no idea. For many of you, that might not mean a lot, all the numbers that I got, but to me, they were incredible. I never expected to have that, especially being like one of my first videos in YouTube. It just means a lot. It just keeps the dream alive. And I am very glad I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. Literally, I will probably just give up, but don't give up and keep going. Because after a few failed videos, I finally did one that actually worked. So, yay me! Today's case is a very well known case on YouTube. Dare I say, it might be the most famous missing person case on the internet. Today's case is about the man called Lars Mittank. Lars Joachim Mittank was born on February 6, 1986 in Berlin, the capital of Germany. So lots of names in here are going to be German names, so it's going to be really hard for me to speak. So just bear with me, okay? Thanks. He grew up as an only child, and on his school and college years, he was quite popular, had many friends, loved sports. He was like a sporty guy. He loved football, which for America it's soccer, but for the rest of the world it's football, and he loved it. He was a really big fan of the Werder Bremen team. At the time of the case, he was 28 years old. He was a precision engineer and he had a girlfriend, supposedly. I never found anything more about it, never saw an interview with her, but supposedly he had a girlfriend. He also did not live with his parents anymore. He did frequently visit them. He used to travel 2.5 hours to go see the parents, especially after his father passed with a stroke. So he made it really frequently that he needed to go see his mother every weekend. So that's what he used to do, 2.5 hours every weekend. So he was very close to his parents. So on June 30th of 2014, him and two friends, Paul and Tim, went to Bulgaria to the Golden Sands resorts, which is known for its big parties like the Cancun Wild, beaches, bikinis, drinks, women, all of that good stuff. The resort is located in the city of Varna, which it's very popular for tourism. It does receive like 3 million visitors per year. During those days, they were having just a blast. They were partying, drinking, playing football, going to parties, having fun by the pool. And that year was the time that the World Cup was happening, which is like the Super Bowl for soccer. And there was a lot of watching Super Bowl with his friends and other guests of the hotel and the restaurants. On the 9th of July 5th, him and his friends went to a bar called Rock Bar to watch the Costa Rica versus the Netherlands World Cup. According to the people who were in the bar, Lars was wearing his team jersey and he was having an argument with this other group of friends, especially this guy who was wearing a different jersey from another team. They do end up arguing. They don't have a physical fight, but their friends had to intervene their argument, which was getting pretty heated. Um, Usually, when people are into soccer, and I'm pretty sure it's like that with other sports, but I'm more familiar with soccer. And usually, when people are wearing their opposite teams and they're in a bar, usually people make fun of them, fun of their team, their players, and that can get pretty heated because people take soccer really seriously. So they didn't get to a physical fight. They do got to a pretty heated argument that had to be intervened. According to his friends, he was already a little tipsy, so that might be the reason why the fight escalated so fast. I mean, the argument escalated so fast. And but after that, they all decided to go to McDonald's, get a little bite to eat. Fast food is always good when you're a little tipsy. But the two friends were walking in the front, and Lars was in the back. Like when you have three friends walking in a sidewalk, there's only room for two. One has to stay behind, and he stayed behind. They did notice at one point that he was staying farther and farther behind, and at one point they turned back, and he wasn't there. So they thought that he might just decided to go home and lay down and rest, and that they would meet with him later after they got their food. When they got to the hotel, he wasn't there. They thought that he might have gone to another bar or he might have found a girl, you know, even though he had a girlfriend. But still, they just thought that he was just having fun. So they decided to sleep out. And when they woke up, he was there. They asked him where he was. Where did you went, bro? And he just said that he got to another fight, um, and that it got pretty heated. Now they didn't believe him right away because he didn't have physical damage, nothing. According to him, some men that speak a different language just cornered him and tried to punch him, but he like dodged, and he didn't get pretty bad, but he did hurt his ear. He also said that these guys were hired by the first people he were arguing with, the people in the bar who were wearing a different jersey. He thinks that they hired them to corner him. But despite all of that, friends, like I said, thought that he was joking. He didn't have any visible injuries, but his ear was hurting a lot, and he kept talking about the ear. He also said that he wasn't hearing properly, which that can be pretty messed up. The return was scheduled for July 7th, which was the day after. Everything was ready, but Lars' ear wouldn't stop hurting, and he was kind of questioning if he should even go because the pressure on the ear could be very uncomfortable. I mean, if you've been on an airplane, you can hear some pops in your ear, and even if you've just been driving and you kind of go to a mountain or someplace really high, it just is really uncomfortable. And if you have an injury inside your ear canal and you have to go through that, it might not be the best idea. But I'm not a doctor here. Paul suggested that he should go see a doctor. They had travel insurance, which covered health, and he might as well use it, right? So he went to a general practitioner, and he discovered that he did have a rupture in his eardrum and that he should actually see a specialist. Now, Tim and Paul did offer him to stay. They say that they could all come back together. They should actually all come back together. They came together to live together. But Lars said that they didn't need to, and that everything was fine, and that he would just go to the doctor and there was no need to worry and go home. I'll get the next plane whenever they tell me that I'm good to go. The friends do decide to go home after Lars said that it's okay. And Lars, on the same day, goes to the specialist, Dr. Boris Najdanov, who did confirm that he did have a ruptured eardrum and suggests a surgery to repair the eardrums. Lars preferred to do the surgery in Germany, his country, which I don't blame you. I'd rather do a surgery in my own country too instead of a foreign country. The bills, the pain, the language, it doesn't sound like the best idea. So, because of that decision, the doctor prescribed him a strong medicine that will be able to help him on his travels and until he gets the surgery in Germany. Now, the doctor prescribed him a really strong dosage of Cefzil 500. And just keep in mind, just the name of the medicine, just keep in mind. After the visit to the doctor, he called his mom, Sandra, and told her everything that happened, and she became very worried about his health. She booked him 2 tickets, one by bus and one by plane for the next day, just in case he wouldn't be allowed to travel by plane. No one knows why, but Lars checked out of his hotel resort and he checked into a very low-end motel. Theories it's that maybe since the resort it's very high season, it's very known by tourists, maybe they were fully booked and they couldn't book him another night. Um, but it's just weird because the hotel that he ended up staying on for that day, it's known by being very dangerous, in a very dangerous area with some gangs, some it's just not the best. It is little frequent by tourists, if I might say so. On the same evening, he called his mother again, and she is very alarmed by his behavior this time because he's asking her to cancel all of his credit cards and telling her that he does not feel safe. He needs to leave the hotel. So he grabs his luggage, he leaves, and then he tells her that he is hiding because he feels like there's men following him. And at 5 a.m., a few hours later, he grabbed a taxi and he goes to the airport. Now, the taxi driver said that he was waving, quite alarming for him to stop. He had another passenger. They didn't feel like they wanted to stop because of the area to be known but being dangerous. And it was just a little weird the way that he wanted the car to stop so badly. They didn't want to, but at the same time they kind of have a feeling that he probably was desperate and needed some help, so they did decide to stop. All that he says is that he needs to go to the airport as quickly as possible, and the only thing that the driver and the passenger could tell authorities is that his pupil were very, very, very dilated. He arrived at the airport at 6 a.m. As soon as he got to the airport, he called his mother again and asked her to transfer him £500. She asked him to go to the hospital inside the airport just one last time so he can check his ear before he goes back home. As soon as he steps in the airport, everything is being recorded. You can see him walking with his luggage, kind of with no destination, and he called his mother again. He tell her that they don't want him to travel. She thinks that he means the doctors because she thinks that he went to the doctor, but he didn't go yet. He hasn't gone yet. So who are they? After the phone call, some witness says they saw him talking to an unknown man, but the security cameras only captured him going to the bathroom. Afterwards, he asked a lady for information and she pointed to the direction of the medical center. Around 9:30 a.m., he saw the doctor Costa Coston, who later said that he looked restless to his entire visit. Since of the eardrum ruptured, he insisted that Lars will wait at least 1 week to travel because it was pretty soon, it was pretty bad, but he didn't want to, he wanted to go home. The doctor even said that he heard him murmuring to himself, I don't want to die here. I need to leave here. I need to go home. I have to get out of here. While this is happening, an employee enters the office. The doctor insists that it was only a construction worker because the airport was going under renovations. But Lars, who was completely terrified about the presence of the man, he ran out of the office without his luggage, without his cell phone, without his wallet, nothing, just himself and his body and clothes, and he just runs out of the airport. So the cameras recording him leaving the airport, going to the parking lot. Some witnesses say they saw him climbing a 3-meter fence with barbed wire and jumping to the other side. And that was the last time that he was seen. That same morning, a few minutes later, his mother called him just to ask, like, hey, did you receive the money that I sent you that you asked me to? But he never answers the phone. She gets really worried and she called the Germany embassy, which soon gets the Varna police involved. The police took some sniffer dogs throughout the airport and to that fence that he jumped, which behind the fence was a field of sunflowers. They didn't find any signs of him. Then they take the dogs back to the airport and ask them to smell the luggage, but they didn't find anything unusual. As soon as she finds out about disappearance, she flies to Bulgaria and she asks help from other Germans in the area, some tourists, to help her try to find him and translate posters. And yeah, she went to the hospital and to the morgue to find him, but she had no success. Afterwards, she said that it was like the earth just swallowed him. She has to go back home. She has to go take care of her husband. So, large friends got some money together and hired a private detective. They also created a page on Facebook. The disappearance ended up causing a geopolitical issue since Germany was dissatisfied with the way Bulgaria was handling the case. And this got worse once the private detective figured out that some police stations in Bulgaria did not even know about disappearance. Bulgaria is one of the least developed countries in Europe, so it relies a lot on tourism. So it's very likely that the disappearance was kept in a hush hush so the tourism in the country would not be affected and to save economy. At the end of September, three people swear they saw a man that looked just like him by the areas of Varna, but they couldn't find him again. A year later, a Bulgarian truck driver reports giving a homeless man a ride, and he only discovered it was Lars after months later when he sees his face on a missing persons poster. In December 15, there was another sighting. People commented on the Facebook page of his disappearance that they created that they saw another homeless man that looked just like him. They took a photo and they sent it to the group, but the mother did not recognize as him. In total, at least 15 men, homeless or living on the streets, was claimed to be him, but he were either ruled out or they just couldn't trace them again. Now that we know the case, there's a few theories of what happened because we're never gonna know for sure until we find him. But there's a few theories, and I'm just gonna share with you so you can let me know what you think. The first theory is that he had a psychotic outbreak. It's the most accepted theory that we have today. They believe that Lars had a psychotic outbreak, which leads to him believing that he's being followed all the time. The orange of the outbreak will be a mystery since he was pretty healthy and had no signs before that day that this would happen or that this should be a possibility of happening. He had no prior history of bipolar or schizophrenia, no untreated mental illness. The medications that he took would not cause those side effects either. The second theory is drugs. That maybe he took a drug that probably fire up this outbreak and having his behavior change subtly. Like, for example, the driver and the passenger said that his pupil was very dilated, which could be symptoms of meth and cocaine and LSD, for example. But as far as we know, Lars had no history of drug used, at least that it was released to the public. The third theory is disappearance by his account. The theory it's basically that he's invented this whole story just to disappear by his own. Some people believe that he might be unhappy with his life and are very sad because his father passed away, and that's why he decided that he needed to live someplace else and even the streets. The fourth theory is homicide, and it's when people believe that he was being followed by the people who attacked him when he got his eardrum rupture, and they might have killed him. Now, it's important to note that there's no recording of that fight. There is no witness to it. The only evidence is his ruptured eardrum. These men were never investigated by police, and the friends never saw them. All that we know is what Lars told his friends. And there you go. That is today's case, Lars Mittank. A very bizarre case where a guy just go to vacation with his friends. Everything seems great until a fight, which we'd have no proof of fight. And that medicine I told you, you're not supposed to take it with alcohol. You're not supposed to mix it. And he was partying and drinking a lot. Maybe he didn't drink after the injury happened, since the next day they had to leave. But we never know. You never know at this point. I just hope we do find him. If you have any information, I will leave here the photo of when he disappeared and the photo of how he's supposed to look like nowadays. Keep an eye open. Share with your friends. If not my video, at least photos of him, because I still want to believe he's out there somewhere. And he just might be confused. Like, for example, they saw this guy in Brazil who they thought was him, took a picture, but he didn't have the same eye color, and he had like a mole when he never had a mole before, like a birth mark. But that guy ended up being someone who was missing for 5 years from Canada all the way to Brazil. How he got there with no documentation, it's just really bizarre. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's case. Please be careful, make good choices, just be careful in general. And if you have any news about his disappearance, please contact someone. This is really important. It could be you, it could be me, it could be your friend, your parents, it could be a very dear person to your heart. And let me know what you think. What are your theories? What do you believe from all these theories? Do you guys really think that he just tried to disappear by himself? That he actually got killed? That he was on drugs? Like, what do you guys think? I don't even know what to think. But yeah. Thank you so much for being here with me for another Friday. Oh, this little fur friend right here is from one of the comments I received on my video, and I'm so sorry if my audio was a little bizarre this video because I keep coming too close and too far. I'm still getting used to the whole having a microphone or even holding it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends. Thank you. Bye.